Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with something a little different. I have decided to start a 5-week series where every Saturday in July I am going to create a specific type of layout. And I'm going to get into that in just a second. What I decided was, since I wanted to talk about what I want to do in July, I thought I'd just do a simple little layout while I was talking. And my original plan was to create, not live necessarily, but not to have to do a voiceover, but there were a lot of interruptions, so that's okay. So I'm going to document this picture of my grandmother and me. It's the last picture taken between the two of us. And I am using this Uptown Flare by the Paper Studio because my grandmother was super flare-alicious. And she loved pink, loved flowers, and loved shiny things. And this paper pad is like all of that. So I have some scraps and some things I'm going to use. It's going to be pretty simplistic. It takes me 15 minutes without editing, or maybe 20 minutes without editing. And a lot of that is just running my mouth because, well, I'm good at that. And I'm just talking about this new thing that I want to do starting this Saturday, July the 2nd. And so I'm just going to talk about it while I'm crafting. Really all I use in this layout is papers and scraps from this paper pad. Those few Crafter Square embellishments that are over there on the side, I use some of those. I do not use that Paper Studio sticker pack right there that you can see on the top. And really, other than that, I use some Tim Holtz word phrases. And I will show you some close-ups at the very end of the completed layout. So really what I wanted was to talk to you all about something that's been on my heart for the last month. And I've been trying to think of exactly what how I wanted to approach it and what I wanted to do. And so starting in the end of April and going through mid-June, so about 6 weeks of my life, I had a one after another things happening in my life that were not necessarily easy things. And it's been a lot to take, and especially in such a short amount of time. This all began April the 26th. Some things are connected, like some of the things that have happened in the last 6 weeks are kind of a cause and effect thing. So I'm not going to get into all of the details about these events now. I will be diving in a little bit in the videos. I am going to create a layout on each of those Saturdays that is documenting and acknowledging a hard thing. So the title of the series is going to be Courageously Crafting, Scrapbooking Through the Hard Things. And it's just a matter of, back in February, I documented my father, and I lost him 4 years ago. And it was hard, and I've scrapbooked him before, but this was super focused on him. It was his birthday, and I was doing a follow a sketch February with State Goddess. And I decided to use his birthday as a day to document what an amazing person he was. So I did. And it was hard. And I definitely cried and went through a lot of emotions. But it was really, really therapeutic for me. And I had some people reach out afterwards on YouTube and on Facebook and Instagram in different ways, and comment about how they haven't been able to document, a certain person in their life who they've lost, or somebody they're upset with, things like that. And so I just felt like, it was important to document those things, because the not great things, or even just the different things that happen to us, are a part of our life. And while I definitely prefer to document the happy times, I mean, this picture of me and my grandmother is right before she left to go back to Texas in October of 2019. And I did not see her again until right before she passed in March of 2020. And so, it's bittersweet, because I love this picture. I love the memories of her and time that we had together. But it definitely is hard thinking about this being the last time I was with her when she was completely with it, because she was not really completely with it by the time we got to the hospital in Texas. We live in Kentucky, and it was an 18-hour drive, and my sister drove the entire way straight through, with other than gas stops and food stops. That was it. So that we could be there for her, and we were. And I am super grateful for that. And so in March, for 30 Days of Sketches, I created a layout based on my grandmother's funeral. And again, it is hard. It was sad. I definitely cried. I kept the tears off my layout. But it was important to me because documenting losing her is a part of what's made me who I am. And, it's part of what gives me strength, and it just creates, who you are as a person. And it can be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. It could be just change in general. Because not everything that has happened in the last 6 weeks in my life have been bad. They're just different. They're just things that, change is hard. Whether it's good or bad, change is hard. And so I just really wanted to bring that into my scrapbook world, because scrapbooking is so important to me. It is something I do every day. I document the big stuff, the small stuff. I document the mundane, the boring, the sad stuff, the funny stuff, the not so great stuff. I mean, I really feel like this last year and a half, especially since I've become a member on scrapbookingwitannemarie.com, that I have really touched a lot of those things personally, scrapbooking all this stuff. And she has made it very important to me to scrapbook myself, which I don't normally do a lot of. And looking back in older scrapbooks, I would say that the majority of layouts are my kids, and then my dogs. And so it's really something important to document yourself. And so she had a All About Me group on Facebook, and had some challenges and things. And so I started documenting myself, and that was really important, and I'm glad I did it. But just as important, I feel it is to document this stuff, the hard stuff. And so on the 2nd, I will be back with a video, and it's not going to be like a counseling session or a boohoo session for me to cry. I'm not saying I will not cry, because there's a good chance of that, because I really have not completely, I don't want to say dealt with, but I have not completely grasped everything that's happened to me and my family in the last 6 weeks. So I'm going to start off, like I said, on Saturday, and that will be something related to my job, and which is, a big part of my life, and it's important, and it's going to be pretty vulnerable. Something happened that was pretty hard for me, and my best friend messaged me later that evening and asked how I was doing, and I responded just simply with a picture of my face, and my eyes were swollen and puffy, and so I decided, normally I just send that stuff to her and move on. I don't print things like that, but that was when I really decided that it was important to document that kind of thing. And so I decided to document this picture. And so I am going to be pretty vulnerable for you all. And yes, I know this is totally out there on the internet, and that is okay. Because being real and being vulnerable and being open to grieving is okay. And, I think it's healthy, and it might not be something you want to do, or might not be something you're even care to do, and that's okay. I just feel really compelled and really led to do it. And so that's what I'm going to do for the next 5 weeks. Just on Saturdays, I'm going to be participating in Off the Board throughout the month of July, but this will be something separate. It's just going to be 10 to 15 minute video on Saturdays, just going through a handful of, I don't think they're very controversial. For the most part, it's just like personal things to me. And some things might not be a big deal to you, and that's okay because everybody's different. Something that may be a big deal to you might seem not that big of a deal to me. So, that's just the way it is. So, I think that that's really the majority of what I wanted to say. I hope that you all will come and join me on the 2nd. And if it is something that it interests you, then I hope that you'll continue through the month of July. I would love to hear from you all, comments or anything along those lines. So please put them below and reach out on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. Here's some close-ups of the layout I just did of my amazing grandma. And like I said, I hope to see you all at least this first Saturday. Give it a try and see what you think. It is a first for me to do this kind of thing. So like I said, it is starting this Saturday, courageously crafting, scrapbooking through the hard stuff. And I hope to see you all then. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I hope you get a chance to do something you love with someone you love. Happy scrapping.